So who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed the murder?
Okay.
Oh god, look at this, that blinking on the top right. I think that really means... Well, technically, if we get the same 3 choices every time, I can get it by trial and error, but that'll leave me with only 2 blips of health. I don't think Ms. Oldbag is the angle. I don't think. Oh, I guess she could be. I think they are gonna bust me if I go after the grade school boy. Now, Penny is the wild card. She has not been brought up at all here, you know. But there's no photo of her going there. So it's either one of these 2. Oh my god, do I go for Penny? Oh shit, I'm going...
It was the assistant! The Steel Samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it, and in doing so, she became the Steel Samurai.
So you're saying the Steel Samurai in the picture is really the assistant?
That's correct, Your Honor.
If you're serious, you've got guts, Mr. Wright. Remember the photo? Wasn't the Steel Samurai a little lame? He was dragging his foot.
Oh. Uh-oh, bad feeling time.
Remember the testimony concerning Powers' injury?
Powers and poor Hammer were at the run-through.
Oh, and me.
What about the assistant?
Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. Fuck! I didn't think about that. The assistant knew nothing of Mr. Powers' injury. She could look the Steel Samurai look with that costume. But she couldn't walk the Steel Samurai walk. She wouldn't have limped.
That kind of takes the legs out from under that case.
Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I have to penalize you as I warned.
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
May we move on, Mr. Wright?
This fight isn't over yet. If you would, Your Honor, one more chance, please.
Very well, go ahead. So who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed the murder? I guess... I feel like I'm making a giant mistake here, but I guess... Ms. Oldbag knows about the sprained ankle. She could have been in the costume.
It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag.
Oh my god, her first name is Wendy? I didn't even... Hold on, is that in the court record? So she's a windbag and an old bag? Oh, it just says security lady here. Okay, then. Never mind. Oh, Penny's full name is Penny Nichols. Oh, Penny Nichols. Okay, fair enough. Because penny and a nickel, they're coins. That's kind of cute. All right, anyway, let's get back to the case at hand. Damn, I should have gone with my instinct. Should have gone with Ms. Oldbag first. No, I took a hit. Okay. Well, I guess for drama's sake that was good, but you know what?
Who? The Steel Samurai's dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through.
And the reason I didn't want to call out the little kid, apart from the whole he's too spindly to kill a grown man, if he went to the studio, then came back and got the costume with the spear, there would have been another photo of him returning. I guess. Where did that kid disappear to, now that I think about it? There was no photo of him returning. Weird. Huh. But anyway, yeah, I think the kid was indeed a false end, so good that I didn't go with that. Anyway.
Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady Oldbag.
What? Whippersnapper? Now, there is a flimsy pretext we're going with here, but sure, it's pretty good. Although, my gut tells me it's not actually her, but if the goal is to buy time, sure, let's go with this. Order! Order! Is this true, Oldbag? Oldbag? That's Ms. Oldbag to you!
Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the Steel Samurai costume, then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder.
Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume?
Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers.
Wow, you know, Phoenix is so good. Now I'm starting to actually believe this, despite my suspicions that it's not Oldbag. I'm really starting to think now that Phoenix is very convincing. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright.
Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes 2, baby.
That was really funny.
That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence?
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? Uh-oh. Well, he's not freaking out, but, The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. Well, what? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it? Is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there. Do something.
What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way?
Again, it seems to have paid off always to go in deep, so let's go.
The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Ms. Oldbag's actions on that day.
But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer?
You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too.
Indeed. Yeah, we've never talked about why he would do that, so thank goodness that Phoenix brought that up.
That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope.
Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? Oh, suddenly you are casting aspersions on that little kid? Well, I mean, I was almost committing to that a minute ago, and I was chewing them for not considering that, so I guess I can't really go on her too hard for this, but you know, she's struggling to keep herself afloat is why she's doing this, so, you know. The boy! The one whose photo I erased. Of course, I've been struggling to keep afloat myself, so again, yeah, we are just two pots calling each other, kettles? He's only a grade schooler, though, as you said. Second or third grade, was it? That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds tops. Ooh. See? She's the only other person who could take Maya in a fist fight. Wow. What a duel for the ages that would be. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright?
That boy is not the killer.
What? How can you be so sure? Oh, or is it be nice to the kids and be mean to your elders day, whippersnapper?
I have proof.
Proof? Indeed? Then let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder? Do I have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder? The card key, maybe? The kid would need a card key to get into the studio. Ms. Oldbag presumably has one, being a security guard, but I don't see where that kid would have pilfered it from. I'm gonna give... this might be a risky play again. I'm gonna go with this.
Ooh, take that. Yes, that sounds good. Let's go. The scene of the murder, as we all know, was Studio 1. However, you need a card key to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relation to the studios have a card key?
I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this?
The windbag. Speechless. This has got to be a first.
Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Windy. What was her name?
Something old bag, Your Honor.
Then the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Wow, I don't know what that ripping on Ms. Oldbag there at the end was, but that was really funny. Oh. Uh-oh.
Wait a second! I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me? I'm talking!
Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk.
Miss Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony?
Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about. Oh, please show Edgeworth's face now. Please do it. Oh, it actually went to Phoenix.
Not to talk about.
By whom?
Oh, it wasn't Edgeworth?
Huh? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk?
Oh, shit.
Well, testify.
Well, I thought it was like, well, we're done with this day. That's a good day's work. Let's walk off to do some more crime sleuthing. Actually, apparently we still got another round of old bag, old wind, blah, 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 madame security ladies, crazy testimonies. She certainly does have a lot to share, doesn't he? Let's go.
Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something.
There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day.
But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free. Miss Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now? Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told.
Model security guard, I guess.
No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag.
Mr. Wright, your cross-examination.
Damn, Judge is just done. He wants to end this day, too. Well, I don't think there's anything to bust her on, really. Seems like a press fest again, so let's just start pressing. This seems like a good thing to start with.
So you were told not to talk.
That's right, by the studio and the TV bigwigs, no less. Why didn't I hear about this? Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it.
There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. Oh yeah, of course we need to press on this because we need to find out who these other people are.
Who were these people?
Well, the director and the producer, for starters.
The director?
We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? I guess so, I did not even think about that. I just figured they were just doing their stunt stuff. Huh.
Of course! Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it.
So, where were these people?
The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime, and they had a meeting after that.
Where?
Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer.
Studio 2? There was a studio too?
Uh-oh, I'm seeing an angle, you guys. I'm seeing an option. I'll get to that in a more opportune moment, but let's carry this on. Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. Now, I'll just point out, I'll bring it up later, but consider the positions of Studio 2, Studio 1, and that gate with the camera. Dear audience, consider that while we go on here for a moment. You go through the gate and all the way to the left.
The path where the monkey's head was fallen over.
Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination?
I think I've already asked all my questions, but I guess we can continue?
Yeah, we could press on this as well. Maybe this is unnecessary, but let's go.
Miss Oldbag, this is a trial for murder.
I know that's silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it.
And, you know, I imagine she's trying to suck up to the studio heads is also a factor here, I think. And they gave me a little bonus on the side. Ah, admitting to bribery, are you, Ms. Oldbag? How fortunate for us.
So, you got your bonus and you still talked.
Well, you know.
Huh. I think I've asked all the questions I have to ask.
I guess we'll take a break then? I don't know. What else could I ask there?
Your Honor, we have learned there were others at Global Studios on the day in question. The director and the producer, and, some bigwigs, were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers.
The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these other people we have just been told of.
I understand, Your Honor.
This ends the day's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Well, I'm actually really glad that Ms. Oldbag came back there at the end with that revelation. This really... Whatever, like, spices up this soup, so to speak, makes me feel better about Mr. Powers getting out of this. If we can get more people into the case, so great. I really appreciate that. All right, back in the lobby.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me.
Or really, it's nothing. Or should I...
What? I did not understand that at all, Maya, but you go ahead and do your thing.
We'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigating. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination.
So, Nick, have we figured out just who it was in that Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been old Windbag?
What do you think, Mr. Powers?
I don't think it was her, really.
Neither do I, Nick.
Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers.
Poor old Windbag. I feel kind of sorry for her.
Yeah, it was a kind of a shitty move, yeah.
Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios.
Right. We'll be back to visit you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, day to be continued, but we do have 10 more minutes around time to continue, so we'll do a little bit of this, we'll do a little bit of this, investigation here, then onwards. There we go. So it's October 18th, Wright and Company Law Offices. Back to the HQ for a bit.
Phew, what a day.
This is no time for relaxing, Nick. Say, you think WP's got a chance?
I guess that really depends on the people we found out about in today's trial.
The director and producer?
Yeah, them.
Well, what are we doing here then? Let's get to the studios.
Well, first... Wait, can I just examine stuff here? Everything's respawned, all the examinations. Is it... It's a nice day outside. Hotel across the way is always full these days. There's the bellboy happily cleaning the room. This looks like it's just the same dialogue. Yeah. They just, for some reason, they reset all these things. Let me just clear those so it doesn't confuse me in the future. The scary part is I have to read all these now. See, I remembered it, huh? Should we chat Maya real quick? Oh yeah, we do have some stuff to talk with Maya. What do you think we should do?
What do I... Huh? Why don't we do what you just said? We gotta get the scoop on this director and producer.
Oh, right. Then there's no point hanging out here.
That's what I've been trying to say. Let's get to those studios pronto.
What about ideas?
We don't have enough information to make a case yet.
That's exactly the same thing you said yesterday. Just admit it. You don't have a clue what happened.
There's not enough information.
Fair enough. I don't think presenting these is gonna help at all. We could go to the detention center. Should we go chat up Mr. Powers before we go there? I'm thinking, if this takes long, we could, just end here and go to the studio next episode. We'll see what happens when we chat up Mr. Powers.
Oh, Mr. Wright. Thank you for earlier.
Not at all. We got lucky, to tell the truth.
You can say that again.
Let's not.
So, WP, do you have any leads that might get us going in the right direction?
We could chat him about the director and producer, That could help us. So this isn't a total bust coming down here.
Sorry, but no.
Be sure to tell us anything that comes to mind, no matter how small.
We can't rely on getting lucky again tomorrow.
Yes.
Alright, these have all reset again as well, I suppose. Smile for the camera. What did it say about this guard? It was really funny. Oh, nothing now. Oh, that's so sad. There was some funny excuse for why he's all frozen here. No. Oh well. I don't remember if I mentioned it last episode, but it came to my mind already last episode. It seems like every area always has just one person to talk to. You transfer to an area and there's just the one person to meet with every time. That seems like a small little limitation of this early game. I wonder if in the later ones they mix it up so one area will have multiple people you can kind of interview. I don't know. See if we can show some stuff to him. We found this card key in the dressing room.
Oh, that's mine, yes.
Can people outside the studios get these cards?
I don't think so. Even I have to return the card. Once the show's done filming, that is.
Huh.
Oh, cool. I wondered if we could have come talk to him about that, before the trial. That would have helped us, throw it down with more confidence in that thing where we talked about the kid. I guess we never did show all this stuff to him. We could totally do that. Regarding this photograph.
Yes?
This really, truly, absolutely isn't you, right?
Right. I was sleeping in my dressing room the whole time, honest.
But who else could have worn it?
Your costume was in your dressing room?
Yes. I guess they snuck in and took it while I was asleep.
But who? Yeah, the camera messes with it. By the way, the point I was making was that if the studio execs were in Studio 2, they could have walked into Studio 1, killed Mr. Hammer, walked back to Studio 2, never passing the camera. I hope you guys at home, you super sleuths at home, I hope you guys realized that as well, as soon as that came up.
That's a really, really glaring thing, you know.
Excuse me. Thank you for showing me that, whatever it is. I wish I could think of some way I could help you. Sorry.
What about your spear?
Regarding the murder weapon,
Yes?
is it heavy, that spear?
It's pretty hefty, yeah.
I find that weird. You'd think they'd make like a prop spear that was, I don't know, tubing or something. But I guess they wanted to go for authentic. So yeah, I guess it's not that crazy. It's not like they have it's not like they have fake swords in something like Lord of the Rings or something, you know. They're probably kind of not as sharp. They've been dulled a little bit, but they probably are actual steel stuff, you know.
I don't think the average person would be able to swing it around effectively.
Oh, funny little trivia I'll just really quickly throw down, now that I brought up Lord of the Rings. There's a scene in The Two Towers where Faramir picks up the One Ring from Frodo's neck. Frodo has the One Ring hanging off that pendant on his neck, and Faramir picks it up with the tip of his sword. So the actor, I forget Faramir's actor's name, he was terrified of doing that himself. He was afraid he'd stab Elijah Wood in the throat. So I guess that really was a sharp sword then. So when that scene was filmed, it was instead like the guy who handles the swords. Like they got some like swords fighting fencing master who was there, and he does the picking up. And that's why when they show the sword picking up the ring, it's like super zoomed in, so there's no shot of anybody holding the sword, so you don't see that it's someone completely different picking it up. It's a funny little thing, I think. I enjoyed that trivia when I heard about it.
And that's the spear that broke or something during the morning run-through?
Oh yes, I goofed on a round kick, you see. I broke the spear. The security lady fixed it for me right away, though.
With duct tape, we heard.
Yeah. That might come up later. I don't know how. Maybe... I don't know. Again, I don't want to go into too much conjecture again, just go on crazy tangents, although I was sorta kind of right on the deleting the photo thing. The motivation for Ms. Oldbag, I was wrong on that. She just thought it wasn't important, but I was kind of right about Ms. Oldbag deleting the photo, so yeah. Oh yeah, let's talk about both of these, the fanboy and the director. And then, actually, I think, yeah, we will probably end then. It's better to call it there, and then we hike off to the studios to do some more investigating.
Do fanboys sneak into the studios often?
No, not that I know of. That security lady's pretty strict with them.
But in today's testimony, didn't she say they were often hanging around?
The kids really, really love the Steel Samurai. They sneak past when she's not looking, I guess.
Yeah, it's a bit contradictory, but not anything super strong. Don't think we can get any work done with this angle. What about the director?
Was the director present at the morning run-through?
Yes. Yes, he was. He was directing how the Steel Samurai and the evil magistrate should move.
Why didn't you tell us that before?
Oh well, just the studio asked us to keep quiet.
Oh, geez. He's been strong-armed by the studio as well. I guess I can imagine it's one of those "you're never gonna have any more work in show business if you don't do what we tell you, bub" moments, you know? Like he probably really felt that he had to play along like that.
That has nothing to do with this. I hate to repeat myself, but Nick here is a newbie lawyer, fresh off the bar. When he loses, he's gonna lose big.
I see.
Whose side is she on?
You aren't hiding anything else from us, are you?
No, I sure hope not.
Alright. That's enough, Maya. Stop scaring him. I think we don't need to freak him out. Anything, by the way, no.
I was thinking maybe they would pop up here already, the director and the producer, or the kid. There's 3 slots there. Although I guess it can keep wrapping. There was one point where we had so much evidence that it had a scroll to the right back in the previous case, so... Okie dokie, guys. Yeah, this is a really good moment to call it. So, this is really exciting. I am super digging this case. Oh, I guess I could have the spiel. I'm just gonna have a small spiel that I would normally maybe have at the start of the episode, but we can get to the action next time faster. Get to the next time faster, so no one has to scroll past that. I'll just do that spiel right now, since the topic seems to come up. It came to my mind just now. And if you don't want to listen to me rambling about my feelings about these cases at the moment, and the overall flow of this plot, well, that's fine. Catch you all next time when we're gonna be doing more of the actual game. But let me just give some musings, because I like to dissect this plot as we're going along. I really should end the episode soon, since I've been talking too much and I'm getting all tongue twisted, as you can tell. But yes, let's first talk. So first of all, this case is fantastic as this kind of, okay, now we're settled in with Wright and Company law offices. Now it's just for a nice little plot that's like, it isn't focused on our main characters, but it's like they bounce off the plot really well. The fact that Maya is this giant steel samurai fanboy, like she connects to the plot like that, but the plot isn't about her. So this is just like a kind of a run-of-the-mill case, quote-unquote, that they're like doing as part of their like daily business. I really love that. And in that sense, I've actually come around a little bit on that second case, the Mia Fey's murder case. I've actually now appreciated it a little bit more, because I've started to think about this as like, well, they're talked about episodes, I think. So I've started to think about these as episodes in a TV series in a way, you guys, these cases. I realized that I'm still not a fan of that Mia had to die for Phoenix's plot to get started. I don't really enjoy that. And I'm still not a fan of the ghost of Mia coming and solving everything at the end of that case. Those still, like, kind of drag that case down for me. But the other problem I had, that I felt that plot was too huge. You know? It was, like, too, like, high stakes, too personal, just too, like, big to be the first case. But then when I started thinking about this as a TV series, that was like a pilot episode. Pilot episodes usually always have big high stakes as they set up our characters and kind of give all of them something to go through, and they really have to, like, high stakes stuff happens for them, and then they have to, like, you know, then they get done with it, and then we have, like, the premise for the rest of the show at the end of the pilot. So, in that sense, actually, the fact that it was that high stakes works out in its favor. It was a big personal plot. It introduced our main characters, and it ended with the premise for the rest of the quote-unquote show, with Phoenix and Maya establishing their own lawyer agency. If I had to think of a comparison, like, off the bat right now, well, a couple come to mind. For example, Firefly. That has a very big plot in the beginning that everyone kind of is involved with when they find River. And we get the premise of the show, we get all the characters introduced, and the premise at the beginning, at the end of that pilot, is that we have to then, this is this ragtag smuggler team, and the overarching plot is gonna be the mystery of River. And then the next episode is that where they rob that train, and it's like, that's, you know, like this case we're doing now, that's like a day in the life of the Serenity crew, is the kind of jobs that they do by the regular. It isn't like a big, huge plot, and I don't remember, there's definitely someone's character gets some development in that for sure, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I just remember it's a fun little train robbery episode. Let me think. Another one, of course, comes to mind is one of my favorite cartoons, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. The first pilot of that is the huge prison break, where all these villains escape, and then all the heroes have to first individually deal with the prison break, and then the incredibly powerful villain Graviton shows up at the end, and then the Avengers kind of assemble kind of organically to fight Graviton, and that's really high stakes. And then after that, it's, we get like what kind of stuff the Avengers deal with day by day, I don't remember what the episode after that is, like what villain they fight against on the next episode right after the pilot. I think, if I remember correctly, that episode has a little focus on the Hulk, because the Hulk, of course, is like, wow, how are we going to work with this rage machine? And I think the Hulk actually leaves the Avengers immediately at the start of the series, immediately at the end of that first episode, that after the pilot. I don't remember what they do in that episode, though, like what the villain is they're dealing with. But anyway, but then we get all these like adventures of the Avengers until, of course, the finale, and we get some bigger action there again. So in that sense, actually, yeah, I really like the setup now that story was that huge. That doesn't mean I'm not concerned that they're not gonna cap off this, because if we think in TV terms, there needs to be a season finale, the final case in this game, and it's gonna have to be just as huge as this first case. And I'm still a little worried if they're gonna be able to pull that off. But the writing has been so strong, I'm not too worried, but just voicing that. Also, you might be like, well, if case number 2's the pilot, and now Steel Samurai is like the first episode, quote unquote, after the pilot, what's that first case that was us dealing with Harry Butts' trial? I guess that's kind of like a cold open, again, that Firefly pilot. I guess that would have been like that, where they're digging around on that space station, or what town they were in. Just that, where they're digging around in that town and we get introduced to everybody and kind of what they're doing, stuff like that. Just before they get the container with River in it. And in Avengers, I guess, they actually had like a bunch of only on the internet pretty cool episodes for that pilot that were like short, 10-minute episodes that was like showing off all the individual heroes doing stuff on their own. I guess that's kind of like what that is. But also, even in that pilot of that Avengers cartoon, it opens with Iron Man busting a Hydra and AIM illegal weapons deal, I think. No, it was AIM and Latveria. Now I remember. That's right. And I think it shows all the other heroes doing some of their regular day-to-day heroics too, before the big jailbreak. So, cold open. That's what that first case was, in a way. Video game terms, it was a tutorial for how this game works. If we, again, think in terms of a TV series, a season 1, it was a cold open. I like when that clicked in my head, okay, that's what they're going with the plots and the stakes and everything. I really like that. So, yeah, don't mistake me when I rip on some of the plot stuff that I'm not huge on. Overall, this series is absolutely slaying it. It's so cool, this Phoenix Wright game. I'm so delighted to finally be playing this. Just like Assassin's Creed, I'm just God damn, why did I never get into this earlier? Because this is so up my alley. This is so much fun. And it's gonna be even more fun next time. Those of you who listen to my little musings here, I hope you appreciated it. I hope you got something out of it. When I had that epiphany, I was like, yeah, that's so cool. So I hope there was something cool in my ramblings as well for you guys. But next time, business as usual. We hit up Studio 2, we search for clues, we figure out who this director and producer is, and we try to make sense of this spider's web of a case that this is turning into. Be there, guys. See you then. Bye-bye.